Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, This Green's Life. My name is Sherry. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. Well, you guys haven't seen me for a while because I'm busy living my life, and I hope that's what you guys are doing too, right? I don't use, social media as a form of, earning money. So I'm just here living my life. I just got back from America about 10 days ago. So I was over there for a little while visiting family, and I'm back here now and I'm relaxing until school starts back up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be going back to work next week just for an hour a day, to kind of ease back into the school year. And I want to say real quickly, thank you to all of my new subscribers. Um, Thank you for joining the family. And I'm really making this video for you today because quite a few people have left messages on some of my um, or YouTube videos rather, asking questions about moving to Grenada. And I promised that I would make a video about that. Now, if you have been following me, or even if you haven't been following me for a long time, I really would recommend that you go back and look at some of my videos when I talked about, you know, even, the thought of even wanting to relocate and the things that have to go into it before you actually make that move to relocate. Because I think the steps that I talked about are very important. So, just to kind of quickly recap, because I'm concerned about some of the messages that I'm getting, some of the things that people are asking me, and it's making me concerned. I'm going to go into a more in depth video in a couple of days to talk about really like what is needed to live here, what life is really like here. But I wanted to touch on this before I got into that. Because if you go back and look at my videos, I talk about the fact that when you are considering relocating, especially out of the country, especially to some place that you have never been to before, people, let me tell you something. You cannot make that decision based on videos that you're seeing on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. You can't do that. I'm telling you. I'm feeling like people are getting enticed by things that they're seeing online. And you got to think about the fact that if somebody comes here and is just here for like 2 weeks, of course they're going to be having a good time because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to have as much fun as they can within that 2 week period. So they're going to come and they're going to go on the tours, and they're going to, take part in all of the activities, and they're going to go to all the parties and the boat rides, and they're going to have a grand time going to the beach and things of that nature. So, of course, it's going to look enticing, and they're going to talk about how beautiful the place is and all the great food and the things that they're doing. And then they go back home, right? But when you are looking at that, and then you said, okay, well, based upon that, I think I want to go live there. That's a whole different story, because when you're living somewhere, obviously you're going to be there for more than just 2 weeks, right? You're talking about making a drastic change in terms of the way that you live every day. And I have said this before, and I will say it again. When you are thinking about relocating, the first thing you have to think about is why. Why are you relocating? What's the reason behind you relocating? Number two, you figure out whether or not what you're thinking of is spiritually in alignment. And I'm telling you that's important, because if you are trying to do something and you notice that there's a lot of pushback, that means it's not spiritually aligned. I'm not saying there's not going to be a few hiccups here and there, but I think that internally and with our intuition, we know whether or not something is for us. So that's what I mean about spiritual alignment. Then I talked about the fact that, okay, you got to figure out where you want to go, right? And I said many times that it really makes no sense for you. I don't think it makes sense. Some people do it, but I'm saying I don't think you should do it. pick up and just go somewhere sight unseen. Just because you saw a couple of videos and again people are saying all this great stuff about this place, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that if you are considering relocating somewhere, especially outside of your country, you should visit that place more than one time. You should really get to see what's going on, how things are, the systems in that country, how they go about doing things there. What kind of documents you may need. Is it going to be easy for you to open up a bank account there? How easy is it going to be able for you to access your money? What kind of ways are you going to earn money so you could be able to sustain yourself, right? Because oftentimes, especially when we're moving out of the country, depending on where we're going, the cost of living may be a little bit less, right? But what is the financial structure of the place that you're trying to move to? Like, are you going to still be earning US dollars or Canadian dollars or, English pounds? Or are you going to work in the local currency? Like, you have to consider all of these things. Then you have to figure out, okay, if I relocate to this place, where am I going to live? Because remember, I'm a stranger here, right? I don't know this place. So is it going to be easy for me to just pick up and just move into any neighborhood? You know what I mean? You have to think about all of these things. I don't think it's a good idea to just do these things haphazardly. I know even living in America, and I speak of America because that's where I'm from. Um, me, myself living in America, when I was living in America, I still had to think about if I wanted to move, where I would move to. Like, where would I, like, am I going to live here? Maybe I should check out the neighborhood. Let me come in the morning, the afternoon, the evening. Let me come on the weekends. Let me come during the summer. Like, even when you're living in a place that's familiar to you, you still have to do your homework. So imagine the homework that you have to do when you're moving outside of the country. So, how do we make that decision haphazardly? You really have to do your research. And I know some people say, well, you could plan and it's still, you know what? I'm a planner. I'm a planner. Even though my parents are from Grenada and I have a Grenadian background and I've been coming here, it still required me to do my planning. I made sure to have a bank account here. I made sure to rent a car when I came here so I can drive around and get to know the place and understand, like, talk to different people and find out how things run and where things are. All of that was important. So when I got here now in 2022, I'm talking about maybe a good 10 years of coming here consistently and setting myself up. So when I came here, it was a soft landing. So imagine I did all of that, and then I'm talking to people that are just like, they want to come here and they're asking me, well, how do I get a job? And I'm sitting here going, no, you're not ready. You're not ready. Because it's obvious that you did not think about everything that I just spoke about. So, long story short, guys, when you are trying to relocate or you're considering relocating to some place else, I'm saying this. I know everybody doesn't say it, but I'm going to say it. You have to do your research. And you really have to be in tune with what you're doing. It can't just be a haphazard thing. You really have to investigate what you're doing because this is a life-changing decision that should not be taken lightly. Or you're going to end up like a lot of people having to run back and forth, run all over the place because you didn't think it all the way through. Okay? So I want you to consider that, guys, before you make any moves.